Persistence is one of the most established and robust ecosystems within Cosmos. They never had any downtime. They constantly ship new products, and they're building out this entire ecosystem, which covers NFTs, which covers a lot of DeFi, and their core mission, which is to become a liquid staking hub. That's why I partnered up with them to create more content over the next coming weeks to better understand the Persistence One chain itself, the XPRT tokenomics, value accrual, and all products that are packed to it. Just a little bit of context of my personal journey with the Persistence One team. I think we first got in touch almost a year ago at this point. They were one of the first ones to establish an ambassador program, which some people have reached out to me very early on. And that's why I also have an interview with Tushar Agarwal on my channel that is 8-9 months ago. So please, after that video, go watch my first interview with Tushar. We're actually working on round 2 now, which is coming up within the next few weeks. And yeah, also the Persistence team has been one of the earliest proponents of Cosmoverse, which is what I really love. I love that they have a strong focus on community. Abhitej, who is their CMO, was also part of the Cosmos India group. They have done a lot of community stuff to educate the Indian community about Cosmos. And overall, the Persistence guys have been very early on the Cosmos train. They've been one of the first ones to implement IBC, to be built on the Cosmos SDK. In my previous videos, I referred to Persistence as the Terra from India. And I think they're actually working on really hard to become something like Terra with a different flavor, with a different target audience. And they're more Cosmos native than Terra is in that sense, because they have full IBC integration and they have a lot of products lined up that will have deep liquidity across several Cosmos native dexes. I very recently made a thread here on Twitter where I dissected a little bit and gave a high-level overview of the Persistence ecosystem and how P-Stake, Comdex, and Mantle are linked to it, right? So let's start off by what Persistence aims to become. It aims to become a liquid staking hub of the proof of stake space. That means not just Cosmos tokens will be liquefied. It also means we have ETH 2.0 liquid staking, Solana liquid staking token, Avalanche liquid staking token. We'll have all these liquid staking derivatives on Cosmos dexes, and they're actually also considering to potentially build their own dex and create a staking derivative marketplace for STK assets. It's not just to liquefy those assets, it's also to have synthetics, lending and borrowing, and all these cool features that you know from the deepest DeFi jungle out there. Think of Anchor protocol, think of a lot of things that are happening on Terra. Those things are also going to come to the Persistence chain. These things are still under development. They had a bit of a shaky start with P-Stake because P-Stake initially was just for SDK Atom on the Ethereum chain. I think the original idea was to target Ethereum users and bring them into Cosmos. That was kind of like a little bit failed in that sense. They had incentivized pools on sushi and all these kind of things. But just the user experience on Ethereum with the high gas fees, that kind of like was a killer argument for most people to not use that, right? And me, myself, I've tried the process, but I must say it really sucks to be in Ethereum. Now they have kind of like pivoted a little bit away from this, and they want to make the Persistence chain itself the liquid staking hub, which means that all these assets will be natively issued on the Persistence chain, right? Which is the chain on which XPRT resides. So you have SDK Atom and SDK XPRT issuance on the Persistence chain. And this chain, my friends, is entirely IBC enabled. So everything that happens there is fully IBC compatible. It's fully integrated in Kepler. And that's what cosmonauts really want to see, right? We want to be in Cosmos. We don't want to get out of Cosmos, especially to a chain that's slower and way more expensive, right? This, I explained that in a thread, is fixing what I just explained, that we have on P-Stake, this problem that these SDK assets are on Ethereum, so they're expensive, and we don't have interoperability, right? So we don't have any of the feature that Cosmos actually provides. Now, what is the goal of P-Stake? The goal of P-Stake is to make STK XPRT, which is liquid staked XPRT that accrues value the base pair against all SDK assets. This could be, if it takes off and gains massive traction, drive a lot of demand for the XPRT token, right? Which, besides being the native staking token to secure the persistence one chain, and besides providing for governance, this is another avenue that accrues value for the XPRT token. I also explained here that pstake will also connect to other ecosystems. We can maybe look into some of the timelines in a second. And then I also said it would be cool to have a native SDK asset DEX for this, where you can just provide liquidity, maybe have also incentives on top of it to provide liquidity for tokens that are generating yield already, that are yield-bearing assets. Now, how does Comdex fit into all this? Comdex is a synthetic commodities platform. And as of my understanding and my interview with Tushar from a couple of months ago, Comdex was the original driver for the creation of persistence in the first place, because Tushar was pretty active in the institutional space in 2017, 18, 19, and then he just saw demand from institutions for a commodities exchange, for a decentralized commodity exchange, which basically means that you can buy derivatives of gold, of oil, of even stocks on a decentralized exchange, and you can trade them, and you have liquidity for them, and you might even have incentives for them, right, to provide liquidity or to conduct trades. So this was the original vision of Comdex. This kind of like fell a little bit under the table, but now Comdex entirely separated from the original persistence architecture, and is on its own chain, its own sovereign Cosmos chain, and is built entirely to be this app-specific blockchain for a commodity platform. They will also support collateralized depositions against SDK assets, which means that you can leverage your liquid staked tokens on Comdex, right? So that's how the loop kind of like closes, because you have utility for these SDK assets on Comdex as well. You also might be able to see stablecoin farming opportunities on Comdex. And this is something really, really exciting, because a lot of people love to park their profits in stablecoins, but they don't want to just leave them there. They want to put them to work for them, right? That's maybe one of the success factors of Terra, is because on Anchor, you can provide UST deposits and earn 20% yield on it, right? So it would be cool if Comdex had a similar farm for stablecoins. Now, Mantle is an NFT platform that actually just launched a few days ago. They also had an airdrop, the same way that Comdex had an airdrop, by the way, and also the same way XPRT itself had a stake drop. They were actually the first ones, as of my knowledge, to make a stake drop back then, when stake drops weren't even a thing, right? So they kind of like termed and invented stake drop. It's also something that a lot of people often forget. Now, the Mantle price discovery launched on Osmosis Frontier. So this is pretty new. You can also claim your airdrop. You can stake it at 3-digit APRs. I had a call with their founder, which is similar to Comdex, its own sovereign blockchain. So now let's look into some of the recent highlights on the Persistence One chain. One of them is the bAtom token, which officially went live on the Anchor protocol. I actually had a live stream with Danku R, who is one of the most prominent Terra YouTubers out there and content creators. And we made a live session on how we try to collateralize bAtom from Atom in Kepler to bAtom in Anchor protocol. It was a bit of a hustle, and along the way we got a little bit lost because we had to involve Ethereum into it. But now what they will do, they will entirely skip that process and just directly create liquidity pools on Astroport. So there will be liquidity pools for bAtom directly in the Terra world, which means we can skip this entire process, and it makes it so much easier, which adds a lot of utility for Atom. Another thing they're really pushing hard now is the implementation of ETH2 liquid staking, which is now live on the testnet. So SDK ETH would be really cool. Imagine to have SDK ETH on Persistence, provide liquidity with it on Osmosis, and might also drag over a lot of Ethereum users into Cosmos. Now, let's look into some of the statistics here of the XPRT token. 87% of the all XRP that are currently circulating are being staked, which is extremely high, right? So only 13% are actually liquid. at an APY of 35%. It's also very compelling for a lot of people. And there's over 4,300 stakers of the XPRT token. XPRT yields live on osmosis. You have 115% on the Atom XPRT pool, and 76% on the Osmo XPRT pool, and 176 on the UST XPRT pool that is currently live, with combined over $10 million worth of liquidity. If we go over here on mintscan.io, they, by the way, just released this amazing visualization of the Internet of Blockchains of Cosmos. You can see here on the right corner the stats, IBC stats of Cosmos chains, right? And you see persistence is not ranking that high, it's ranking below Crypto.org, below Akash, below Cerberus, below Secret Network in terms of value and transactions that are being conducted. So they need to massively ramp that up, 5 to 10x. And I think that's also one of their core goals, is to have more IBC traffic, which will come with more utility and more liquid assets, SDK assets, being natively issued on the Persistence 1 chain. Now, to wrap things up, if we go over here on map of zones, we can see that, let's see on a monthly scale, how many IBC users does Persistence have, and they're ranked 14 with 3,600 users. So this number needs to also massively ramp up, which I think if they really build this SDK asset marketplace, this number is going to shoot through the roof, because that's something that no other DEX currently has. Crescent is the first one to have liquid stake tokens on their exchange natively, but we need an entire marketplace for that, and bridging over other assets such as Solana, Avalanche, Ethereum as liquid staked derivatives is really cool. So that could draw in a lot of users and a lot of traffic. But overall, they have been constantly here between the top 10 and top 12, 13, 14. So yeah, they really need this killer application to go through the roof. And I've been in talks with the team for a long time, and I know they're super committed. And with this, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you learned something. I hope you understand better the entire persistence ecosystem, because it was a bit confusing even for me in the beginning to understand how all these projects are kind of like linked together. But I hope this video helps. Stay safe, guys. Be good. I'll see you guys in the next one.